morning or whenever you see this. Again, I'm going live because of space issues. Also, I posted a video like this before, but it did not, it got flagged. Okay, so a lot of people don't like the truth or want the truth out. But like almost immediately, the video was flagged and taken down. So, yes, I'm gonna attempt to do this again. And especially now that there's articles out about it. I'm trying to see where I'm going to start. But right now, why is he out here? It's raining, buddy. There's an article, and then I saw an interview. I don't remember I think, is it Joe Reagan? I saw just a part of it. The MMA fighter or the retired MMA fighter talking about, I'm trying to choose my words, y'all, to make sure. They've had a study and 600,000 people have passed from the shot alone. We're not talking about, which they probably like develop cancers and things, but we're not even talking about that. We're not talking about getting in an accident. We're not talking about, being taken out of here by someone else. We're not talking about serving our country and being taken that way. We're not even talking about taking their own, you know, but the shot alone, 600, no, Connor, 600,000 people have been taken out of here. And that is insane. And as I was listening, I was reading some of the comments, and something I wouldn't do, even though it's a thought, but a lot of us who did not take it and caught on to all of this and actually did our research to see what was in it and looking at why were they pushing it so much? Um, a lot of us, and looking at, hey, why are doctors and nurses quitting? You're supposed to be the doctors and nurses. Why are they quitting and they don't want to take it or being forced to take it? So those should raise questions for you, not have you going along with it. Because really it was a state of fear and people not doing their own research is really what it was. But again, those of us who did, I was looking at the comments, people like, oh, people calling us conspiracy theorists. I was definitely called that. I'm called that now, only because I like to know what's going on before I commit to something. And a lot of them were like, we told y'all, and then nobody who didn't take it regrets it. And I know for a while that they were trying to put articles out of people who were in the hospital and had it, um, had the virus, but didn't take the shot. And they were trying to say those people, their dying words were, I should have got the shot. I'm like, ain't no way. No one I didn't feel nothing. And it was so many of them. I'm like, none, them people didn't say that. So I'm gonna probably get a little passionate about it because it really upset me when I first saw it coming out. Because I was still out here doing things. I had to work. They had us at work, some of us anyway. But which is strange as well. But they had us at work. Some people went, some people didn't. I didn't mind because I don't like being around a lot of people all the time anyway. So it worked out. And the people that we did have, we got closer at work. So I enjoyed that. But back to what I was saying, I noticed when it first came out, a lot of elderly people were getting taken out, and I was like, why are they targeted? Because why is it only them? And I started thinking, because I still know people in their hundreds right now, people that are in their 90s. I teach elderly people who are in their late 70s and older. So for me, I just started thinking, a lot of those people live through many outbreaks that's happened, many pushed shots, many administrations, segregation. They made it through other things. And a lot of them didn't take it that are still here. Oh man, they know something we don't. But also, I thought about when that video I shared with y'all with last week about the older teaching the younger, and that's one of them. We need to be teaching history, and not just any history, his story or her story, but the real history, which you actually lived through, and stop passing down other things like generational, curses and negativity and all this stuff in the family. We need to be passing down things that actually happened. Um, hey, during this time, we all went through this, or and I see this in the other countries. They do share things. Hey, we had to go into hiding. Hey, we were refugees for 2 years, or whatever. They share things, and I think it'll make people, the younger generation, appreciate things more. And then you can say that because we also know about civil rights and all that, and people are still out here acting silly even though they know some of that history. So I can't even say that, but it seems like it hits home more for others. Connor, say hi. Okay, but back to what I was saying. So hopefully this video doesn't get taken down, and I rambled on enough. But I did see that article. I read it, and they showing, hey, stop it, that people have developed a lot of things since taking it. And it does make me mad because it reminds me how much evil is here. Like, why are y'all targeting people and going to such great lengths to lie to people to get them to take something? And years ago, there were videos of these same people who were in the mix of why people got it. They're 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 on camera talking about depopulation. They're on camera talking about how we got too many people, and they were creating something. They were on camera talking about people who have a light in their brain, who believe in God or have a knowledge of God. They have a light. Those who don't have a light. And I'm like, what? That was actually studied? And I'm thinking, how would you know that? Like, how do you get in there to see that? And certain people are targeted because of that light. And then people who, I guess, deal with bodies that have passed on, they say that light goes out when you pass. So it definitely exists. And I'm like, man, it's so much of this life. Instead of learning about silly stuff, we need to be learning about that. Because it definitely makes you appreciate life a little more and realize, okay, where am I at? Do I have the light or do I not? You know? But going back to what I was saying earlier, also made another video that didn't make it. Again, all of my videos aren't getting posted. So again, I'm gonna try to go live, but again, some of those may not, stay on here. But when it first came out, y'all, I before it hit, I was plant based for like a year, and then I had this competition thing going on where I had to be outside. It was like that. It was raining every day. It was cold. It was like January, February, and I kind of weaned off of eating based because I was out in the field for 3 weeks. So I was like, dang, what am I going to eat? So I was eating sandwiches, processed food. I was drinking coffee all day. I didn't really have any water. I had Gatorade. I had snacks, chips. That's what I ate for 3 weeks straight. And that was dumb. Coming off of eating healthy plant-based meals that I would make or get somewhere and go straight into that was not wise, okay? Because y'all, I got sick and it was so bad. I was actually out on the course getting graded during land nav, and I couldn't finish. Before we even went out, I had to take all my gear off. For those, I was in the military, okay? Retired now. But I was out there doing land nav, and I had to stop as soon as we started, take all my gear off. I was just so hot, and my head, it was just so, it was a lot. So I kind of hid because I was at a point where people had to come find it. So I was like, let me get over here. But it was so bad, I didn't find none of my points. I just went back and I was like, I didn't even care anymore. I even took a PT test that morning, passed, and it just, I was like, I can't. And I remember sitting on the bus waiting to go back, and it was taking forever. And plus, people were lost too. But we get back, I was just gonna go home and rest. I was soaking wet. I've been soaking wet every day, boots wet, then fell in the swamp. And one of my coworkers like, hey, he said, you never complain. And I wasn't really thinking about it. He's like, you need to go to the hospital. Well, I'm gonna go home first. He's like, if you do, you probably gonna come back out. I was like, you're right, because I didn't live near a post. So I went in, and they were like, hey, you got the flu and a pneumonia, even though she took a test and it didn't show it for the flu or pneumonia. But she said you got fluid in your chest and you have flu-like symptoms, but you coming up negative for both. But I'm gonna diagnose you with both. I'm like, what the heck? So she gave me this bag of medicine. I didn't take any of it because I'm like, how you gonna tell me I ain't got it, but yet you tell me I did? It makes no sense. So I didn't take any of the medicine, and I had to tell them my people at work, which they probably thought I was lying, but I don't care. But I was like, hey, y'all, I am sick. They gave me 3 days. And even then, I don't think that was enough because no one knew it was COVID yet. But that's when it just hit. It just hit then because when I went back to work, we had to announce it. Actually, I was the one who announced it to the students. So I was like, wait. And then as I'm reading the symptoms, I stopped in the middle. I was like, wait, I had those symptoms last week. And then everybody was laughing. But I was like, I really do think I had it before it was announced. And then it was, again, I was only out for 2 days or 3 days, and I came back to work. So probably should have been out longer. And then the second time I got it, I think at that time everybody was, had got the shot already, and I was around them. I didn't get the shot, but I started when they got it. I started getting sick. Mind you, I still wasn't eating good at this time, so it overtook me, and I was out. And that opened doors to other things. Me and my commander got into it. I hope she matured since then. But yeah, we got into it because she didn't believe I had it. Even though I'm telling her I had it, she still tried to make me come to work. It was a lot. All right. If I was a cusser, she would have got cussed out that day. But I just couldn't. She was doing the most. But my whole family had it. But again, she didn't believe me. So I had to go into the hospital, get tested, and show her, look, I got it. And instead of saying, sorry, I'm sorry you got COVID, she was like, you should have told me earlier. I'm like, oh, okay, and this, I see what kind of person you are. But then, y'all, the third time, um, no, I only got it twice. So, no, yeah, I only got it twice. So the third time that I almost got it is what I'm trying to say. So I was on leave. I was in Tennessee with my husband. We went to a Rock-A-Sign reunion. He was a Rock-A-Sign. And we came back from Tennessee, was there a whole week. I come back, my first day back, y'all. He wasn't my commander, he was under the commander, but he was a lot older than me. And he came in my workspace in front of everybody and started going in on me and was like, you're a threat to us, and you're the reason why people are gonna die and you're gonna die. And I'm like, wait a minute, what? I said, you can't say that to me. He's like, you are irresponsible and you're putting all our lives at risk. And I was like, how? He's like, we got, and he didn't know I knew. He said, we got people right now with COVID and it's because of you. And some people take me as sarcastic, but I'm really just being honest. And I think that's a whole nother video. Not trying to diagnose myself, but I think I have something, and it just was never diagnosed. And I'm not trying to diagnose myself. I don't believe in claiming that, but we got to be honest with ourselves. Like, okay, there's something here. All these little traits add up. But anyways, a lot of people do think I am sarcastic or told me, but I'm really just saying what I think or what I know. Not really what I think, but what I know. And that rubs people the wrong way. And a lot of people aren't used to you actually responding that way. But anyways, so I was like, how did I get 10 people sick with COVID? I don't have COVID. And I just got back today. So that means they had it before I got back. So how, I said, if anything, y'all put me at risk. He blew up. You hear me? It's like he turned into, like he aged 20 years. He got like really wrinkly, and again, I could tell this was a spirit. So I wasn't even phased. And I was like, man, he is manifesting right now. That's what I'm thinking. But I'm just looking at him, and that's one thing I do. A lot of people don't like it, but I just sit and look at you when you're doing the most, because what am I going to do? And my coworkers heard it, and they were like, what? And he was like, well, you come see me tomorrow. So I'm like, okay. And he had all these papers spread out on his desk, but he didn't know I was ready to. I only had one piece of paper, and that was the letter from IG, which is the Inspector General for y'all that's not in the military. But the Inspector General, I called them, got the post policy on people who are not vaccinated, and what do we do, especially when it comes to stuff like that. Also, I had the Civil Rights Act of 1964. If y'all don't know about that, and you know people in the military, because I had people ask me, I'm in the military, they made me get it. So was I. I did 20 plus years. I retired honorably, and I didn't get it. I also didn't get a few other vaccines when I was in. Why? Because of conviction. I was like, I don't feel like the Holy Spirit is leading me to get it, and I would tell them that. I wouldn't lie and say I'm sick or whatever. No, I'm like, I'm not being led to do it. Also, the Civil Rights Act of 1964 also covers military. Go read it yourself. We can't give everybody everything. You got to go research like I did. I brought up the 1964 Civil Rights Act and that portion about mandatory vaccines, which no one should have been mandated. Now that we're here, that was actually illegal. But yeah, and that's how I was not required to get the vaccine. And people were like, how come you didn't get it? Because I didn't have to get it. And now look, and then during that time, I had the sniffles. So one of my coworkers, or the lady, so I was IT. So I went and I would go to different offices and fix computers, printers, baseline computers, all this stuff. So she hugged me because remember I just got back. So she called me right after this interaction with this dude, and she was like, "Hey, I just found out I got COVID." I'm like, "Again?" I'm like, "You had it last month." Y'all, literally, this was like June. She had it in May. Got it again. And I was like, "Can you get it that often?" She's like, "I got it again, girl. I just wanted to let you know because I gave you a hug." I'm like, what I'm thinking is, dude, I just told this dude whatever. So now, and I got sniffles. So I'm like, I feel it coming. I feel it coming. And mind you, 10 other people got it. So I was like, what in the world? So I went home. I drank water. I went to the garden, got my beets. I started juicing. And y'all, the sniffles left. And also, that one piece of paper I told you I had, it said, if you are not vaccinated and you're around others who are and they're vaccinated and got COVID, you are required to send an unvaccinated person home for 5 days consecutively and then bring them back. And then when there's another one, they get another. So it worked in my favor. So I was like, I know you got all the stuff laid out that you're trying to say is whatever. I actually don't believe in none of that. But I have this paper saying I'm supposed to be home for the next 5 days. He was like, what? Let me see. And then he's like, then he apologized, y'all. I gotta give him that. He did yell at me again because he didn't like that nothing he was saying was phasing me, because it really wasn't. None of the stuff he said was facts. Even a soldier ran out to check on me because he was yelling. And I was just like, I'm good. And he went back to his desk. But he apologized. He said, man, I didn't like that you was just looking at me and you weren't even responding. And I was like, well, I was listening to you. He said, yeah, but I didn't like it. And I'm like, okay. But I knew that. And I was like, oh, okay. And so I thank God for that, for being quiet. Because, you can see I'm black. I mean, I mix with things, but I'm black. And he was not, okay? He was white. much older, much higher rank than me. Okay, probably making 10 grand more. But the fact that, the enemy has to submit at some point, and you don't really have to do much. God said, I'll fight your battles, and he surely did. And it happened quickly. I ain't have to wait a long time, but he did apologize, and he actually admitted why he was mad. So I was like, I already knew that. But he sent me home, and then again, I'm IT, so I can't really do it so much at home because I go around fixing things, or I'm required to use the network to get things done. So I had a nice little break, and I actually got better. I was actually detoxing at home, so I didn't get COVID again. And that's one thing I noticed, and that's where I'm getting to. I know this video is going, but that's the point I'm trying to make, y'all. At some point, you have to learn. And then my body, each time it got better. So when they were like, lying to everybody saying if you get the shot, you won't get it at all. That was a lie. Mostly everybody got it who got the shot. So then it was, oh, well, it'll cut down on your symptoms. I'm like, how can you tell me my symptoms are less than yours? You can't feel what I'm feeling. That person's been out for a week. I'm back in 2 days. So what do you mean? The most I had was like horrible headache, which was like, I don't get headaches. So I knew something was up. But that was my symptom. Also, I got to go back. The second time I got it, which I only got it twice, the second time I got it, y'all, and I've shared this before, I lost my taste and smell. And that was when I was like, I can see how people can get depressed and stay stuck when they get injured, or they have something that takes them out, or it takes away something that they use a lot. Because I do cook a lot, and I'm like, I rely on that for my family. I don't taste food when I'm cooking. I smell it, and I can tell it needs more salt or more whatever. That's how I cook. And I'm like, that was the first thing I thought about. Oh my God, the food's gonna be trash now. What are they gonna eat? you know. And I was like, I don't want to be smelling. I can't smell it. So that's what my mind was thinking. So I was like, Lord. So I went to the garden, which I'm sitting out here now. I grabbed a specific pepper. I was growing like 10 peppers, just like I'm doing now. But I grabbed the garden salsa pepper. I got it. I went inside, made some black bean soup, and I had some thyme, rosemary, and basil from the garden. I chopped everything up, put it in the soup, and onions that I had in the garden, and some tomatoes. Y'all, as I was cooking it, my nose started opening up, and it's not that the pepper's spicy. I really felt led, because I'm like, why am I randomly going outside and grabbing peppers and cooking bean soup? That ain't what I normally make. But I did it, y'all, and I ate it. My husband had some too, because I think he was sick as well. He's like, man, this is so fresh. I'm like, well, it's garden, ingredients, so that's why. Also, my smell and taste, y'all, came back immediately. Y'all hear me? So immediately I was thanking God, and then I repented for just eating horribly prior to this. Because had I not, it probably wouldn't have came over me. Eating a lot of processed food, drinking coffee, which I'm drinking now, but I'm drinking other stuff, okay? Processed food, coffee all day, no water, no fresh fruits and vegetables. And no, y'all, that's why we're getting sick so often. Also, right now, people that were perfectly healthy before they took this, y'all, these same people have cancer, other autoimmune diseases. The hair is messed up. They have skin problems. And I think I don't want to go this far, but I do. A lot of people's moods are different. Have y'all noticed that? People are not responding the same to different things. I don't know if it affected people's memory, or they're not, like, the thinking is that, like, they're not processing things the same after getting this. And again, this is my observation, because I do talk to a lot of people all the time, and I'm like, something's different. Some people's, like, their breathing is like the lungs aren't the same. Like, they walk upstairs, their chest hurts, and this is a result from that. And again, I didn't get it, but when I had COVID, magnified, like the pain was magnified. An example, real life example, my shoulder was broken now about 15 years ago. I didn't have any more pain from it. I never got it looked at, won't even think about it. When I got COVID the second time, this shoulder hurt so bad. I couldn't, even like people that I used to work with, I couldn't lift my arm, y'all, like past here. I couldn't do it. I had to use my other arm to lift my arm. And I noticed, like, why is that pain back during this, this sickness? And then even after I got rid of it, the virus, that pain in my shoulder was so bad. I had to go get looked at. I had to. It's so much happened, y'all. I don't want to go down this rabbit hole, but the shoulder, I didn't think about it anymore. I went in to get seen. They were like, you have broken bones. I'm like, what? My bones have been broken since 2010, 2011. And mind you, this was 2021. I had broken bones in my shoulder. Also, mind you, I was in the military, taking PT tests, teaching PT. So again, I always had that pain come back every now and then. I was a bodybuilder at one point. I was doing all this stuff with broken shoulder bones, and I had arthritis in my shoulder, all this stuff. And I was like, Lord, how? And they were like, how are you making it? And I was like, well, it's only one answer I can give you. It was definitely the Lord, but also came at the right time, y'all, because they were trying to move me. And because of that shoulder injury, they couldn't move me at that time. So I had to get surgery, and they deleted my orders. Y'all, when I tell you, there was no way I could, because I couldn't even stop. Nobody was listening to me. Nobody wanted to help. Again, my chain of command, nobody was trying to help me stay here. Like, there were so many reasons I needed to stay. But I get it, these are the Army. And I was willing to go. I was like, all right, I guess the Lord wants me to go and whatever he had for me to do there. And then, but I never felt like I was supposed to go. So I was like, whatever. I even started getting myself together. I was clear, y'all. I was clearing. For those that are civilians that don't know what that is, when you're about to move to another place in the military, you have a stack of papers where you have to go to each agency on post, off post, to clear to make sure you don't owe any money. You don't need to get seen for anything. I had to go to all these places. Y'all, I was almost done. I had 2 more places to clear until they called and said, hey, stop clearing. You're not going anywhere. I was like, Lord, thank you. And that's a testament of God works in mysterious ways, and he works on time. But I knew deep down, I knew deep down I wasn't going anywhere. I just didn't know how. And I didn't even care. That's the one thing about faith. And when you're obedient and when you've, went through things with God before, okay, God, I don't know what's going on, but whatever it is, I know you got it. And he did. Y'all, there was no way to get out of that except him. Who knew that a shoulder injury, actually my arm got dislocated. We won't talk about how. Put your thoughts together, okay? I was punched in my arm was dislocated. And I remember snapping it back, never got seen, never told anybody what happened. And then however many years later, my shoulder is now in pain to where I can't do anything. And I needed surgery. And they scheduled me for surgery in like 2 months from that appointment. And canceled my orders. They kept me here. I was able to retire. Even that, they lost my exemption paperwork for the vaccine, y'all. Because I had to send in a packet saying I'm not getting it. This is why. They had to send it up. And S1, I love y'all, but man, they were always losing my stuff. It seemed like it was my stuff. I didn't get paid for a year because of them. I didn't get my leave. There's so much going on. So I was thankful this time, okay, that they lost my paperwork, y'all. To the point they had to come back and ask me, hey, Sarah Harris, do you have you got your exemption paperwork? We can't find it. And I don't know if it was ever turned in. I'm like, I got it right here. So I gave it back to them, but it was too late. I already got my retirement approved. But my point, they were trying to hurry up and kick me out of the military, but it didn't work. Again, that was also a test. I was like, Lord, do you want me to take this thing? 18 years in. I am 2 years away from retirement. There is no way all that time was ruined. No way. But I was willing to do it. You know why? Because my security is not in a paycheck from the government. My security is with God. And if I felt, I know God told me not to get it. I know He told other people not to get it. So people got it anyway. But I felt it. I knew it. And there was no, it was a peace, y'all. And that's another thing. When you know it's God, there's a peace that surpasses all understanding. Because everyone thought I was crazy for not getting it. And out of our work, it's probably like 50 people that worked in that building. Only 3 of us didn't get it. And we're all 3 believers, actually. So that's something. But every now and then we would all meet, not together, but like separate. Like, hey, how you doing? Just checking on each other. Because we knew we could feel the weight of people judging us. Some people were in fear, like, why didn't y'all get it? And that's selfish. So we have to deal with those conversations. But again, God equips you every time. You don't run from it, but you just engage and just be respectful. And I'm like, I don't hate anybody who got it. I understand some people got out of fear. I understand some people just didn't know. Some people got it, didn't do any research. They believe. Okay. All right. And from what I remember, the administration that was trying to give it before they left, people were like, I ain't getting it. And then the new administration came, same thing, but they took it. I'm like, it's the same thing. That don't even make sense. Y'all hate somebody so bad that you're not even thinking clearly. You know what I'm saying? He didn't create it. It was just so, it just didn't make sense. It just didn't. And I was like, why is this push? Y'all don't feel that? Like something's not right. But I remember us 3 are getting together, just encouraging each other. Hey, you good? You got this. Stick it out. You good. You know, God's got you. You know, keep hold to the faith. And I'm saying you won't get sick, but you'll be fine. You know, you build up these little antibodies and immunity to these things. And some people never got it, thank God, you know. But y'all, that was the main thing I wanted to guide. You have to stay, you have to keep the faith. You have to believe that I may be by myself in this, but I'm going to get through it. And also, we have to take care of ourselves, whether there's rest, the stress, get rid of that. If it's a person or things, get rid of it. If it's causing you all this extra stress, it's keeping you sick, you're tired all the time. Have y'all noticed a lot of us are exhausted all the time, even if you're eating good. And that's okay, that's spiritual as well. All right, there's definitely something going on, but that's not an excuse. We need to still eat good, make sure you're drinking, not drinking, but drinking healthy things, juicing. That's why I do share juicing videos, and hopefully you're growing most of that stuff so you can get it. You know where it's coming from. Because right now there's a recall on doggone cucumbers. Cucumbers, and that's one of the easiest things to grow. But y'all, it's we everyone should be doing something. Juicing, and I did a video on juicing with a blender because all of us don't have a juicer. I do, but I just wanted to show you how to do it with the blender. But we have to do better. And then, we got kids, so the kids watch us, they want to do better. Our oldest son that lives here, we have another son, but the one who lives here, he is now meal prepping. He cut out sugar. So I'm like, man, your kids are watching. They want to, so I do appreciate. Be healthy? Yes. But they always eat junk. Really, Jordan? What about you? Exactly. Hey, go wipe your nose. Go. But yeah, that's it, y'all. And again, we don't want to be walking around because there's people doing it. Talking, I told you so. There's no need for that. All right. And so what? People call you
I want my nose.
On what? Because I see it on your cheeks. Exactly. You didn't get a tissue. Uh huh. All right, I'm coming in a minute. I can't remember what I was about to say.
I'm saying inside forever. Just kidding.
I can't remember what I was about to say. Oh yeah, don't be walking around talking about "I told you so." No one needs to hear that. I do be praying for people that I know got it, knowingly or unknowingly. Some people think it's the mark, and I'm like, we just need to pray before we do things. Before you do anything, you're supposed to be doing it anyway. A lot of people, I ain't doing it for everything. Okay, well, that's why we're in the situation we're in, because you're not. But he said, seek me in all your ways, and I'll direct your path. And that is so true. Even if it's what lane to go into, so I don't end up in traffic, or there's an accident down there, or whatever. Or you may go this way because you may have to run into someone to witness to. We just need to be obedient. And a lot of times that means being to yourself, getting some quiet time, not overly stimulated all the time with people around you, watching the wrong things, the wrong kind of music. Again, stress. You stressing about stuff you don't need to be thinking about. And I mentioned this before. I got offered a job where I was making a lot a month. And I wasn't even moved by it. It was a thought. It's like, man, that would be good to have that much. I could quit in 6 months just to pay off this, give this to this person, help this person, and then I'll quit because I don't need it. And I thought about everything I would have to do, jumping through hoops. The kids are homeschooled. Now I have to find them, get them back in school, or bring them with me, which that could be an issue. So I was like, no, I'm not even bringing my mind through all of that. I'm just not going to do it. So yes, y'all, that's all I got for now. This is already going on 40 minutes. Wow, it's like every time I try to really, Jordan. So yeah, just something to think about, y'all. And this is just one thing. There's definitely more things coming. We have the terrorist thing. I've been seeing it before they announced it. The empty shells, them trying to spread things around and make it look like I'm like, that don't look right. And then stuff expiring very quickly. Like some stuff used to last for weeks, like milk and bread. Now it's expiring like the week after or days after. Y'all notice that? Have you noticed? And certain products are just not available. And this has been going on for a while. Even I went into Target one day, just to go in there. A lot of people boycotting all this stuff. But people don't understand, like, okay, what are you even, fighting against right now? Do you even know, or you just following what someone else is doing? But I went in there, and I was looking, buddy, move, if y'all want to feed the employees were, they look like me. I know, please. They look like me. And everyone that I passed, they smiled. And it was a smile like, thank you for coming in. Kind of like, it was like, like that little acknowledgement. And I was like, man, it's a lot of people of color working. It was like Indian people in there, mostly us. And this was in an area where it's predominantly not us, but they were working there. And you could see it on their faces. You could see it in their demeanor. Like, I don't know how long I'm going to be here. Because, y'all, when I say a ghost town, that is what I mean. I think I saw one other black person in there that was actually shopping. I didn't even have a shopping cart because I was going to look at something. But you could feel it. I was telling my husband about it. I was like, man, it was a ghost town. I ain't never seen it. I'm not a huge Target shopper anyway. But when I went in there,
you have cool toys.
I'm talking about it. It was a lot of us working there and one of us shopping. And then I was in there. So two. And then it was just a very diagnose myself, but a lot of things that they talk about, I do or I kind of struggle with, but I've learned how to deal with it. So I'm like, man, I was like, I'm about to be 40, so I'm about to go get see, maybe just get tested or maybe not. It ain't like I have to be diagnosed with anything, but it's just certain things that I've been listening and reading with people that have it, especially women. They're saying women are different from men who are diagnosed because it just shows up differently in women. Because we're expected to do certain things or be a certain way, so they go undiagnosed, and it looks different for us. I've said us like I have it, but I really think I do. And I have a lot of family members who do. And I'm like, wait, did it skip us? Or does it just look different than me? Okay, you can open it. Go sit down. But it's just certain things that I'm realizing that's me. That's me. Or I've always had this issue. And it's starting to make sense. So it's glad to, I can say, be seen. I feel like everybody has little quirks and things. And we'll find out years from now, oh, it's not a thing. It's be who you are. I don't know. That's just how I think. Because I feel like, man, everyone has little characteristics. But to have the majority of what's on the list is crazy to me. But yeah, I just said that because I really hate being interrupted. And I lose my thoughts very easily when that's done. But I'm going to go, y'all, because he is whining and I can't. It's true, buddy. And I can't focus on a lot of things at one time. But I love y'all. Hope that's something to think about. Look, lift it here. Here. Take it over there. I'm going to go, y'all, because I'm getting there. So, all right, I will talk to y'all later. Have an amazing day. All right.